Leny in full Man United training. You get? So it is really very, 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 very interesting for the club of Manchester United. What a boost for Leny, because the last time we saw photos of Leny, he was training alone. And this week, he has been able to return into the first training session for the club of Manchester United. Group moreover. And what does it mean? He's going to be playing against Piyok or Leicester City this week. All he's really going to be returning after the international break. That's what we're going to hit together for you in here onto the United Matters channel. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's Rock and David doing the needful to obviously have something to bring onto your gadgets, laptops, all phones, to see to it that we spice up everything that you guys are really in the know. Now, let's start it off with Samuel Lucas. Yesterday, he's the man that brought up this story that Leny, who turns 19 next week, will not play against Piyok on Thursday or Leicester City on Sunday. However, perhaps there will be a cameo from him during the opening training session at Carrington on Wednesday. So he said this yesterday, and obviously it's exactly what went ahead to happen. Today, we went ahead to obviously have a cameo of Leny at the club of Manchester United, and he put in a very big shift into the training as he prepared to obviously get himself back to fitness ways. And for Leny, his return is really huge excitement as Ruben Amorim comes in through with a manager that is known for playing a back three for the entirety of his managing career. It was obviously having huge question marks when it came to whether he can really field these three defenders, as we are really having shite into our defenders at the club of Manchester United. For example, when you look at the back three of Man United, maybe De Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, and Lindelof. Meaning on the bench right now, you'll be left with one defender known as John Evans, meaning that those defenders have to be playing 2 games per week, and that cannot really favor all of them, meaning that you need another defender who can come in through to that the interchange obviously makes huge sense into what the manager really wants. So Leny coming back is a boost, and I think down in Portugal, Ruben Amorim is really excited about this job that Man United is really doing for him, to see to it that everything is really moving on as planned. So I'm really excited about him because he's a young defender. We all know what he brings on the table. We love what he has and what he brings. So for me, Leny is really a very, very, very good defender. Fast, good on the ball, and he's really a risk-taking defender, especially when it comes to obviously putting in those sliding tackles and obviously trying to obviously track back. He's a fast defender. He puts in his shift and no one really doubts his quality as a player. So that is Leny for you, and he returns into the first team training session for the club of Manchester United. And why do I think he might even get himself playing before Malacia really plays? He hasn't been out for long. Remember, he came in through at the beginning of our pre-season, and he played, I think we are playing against Rangers. He played against is it Arsenal? I think that's when he really got injured and he got off. So he got a metatarsal injury, but how many months back? August, September, October, 3 months back, 3 months, he is back into the mix. And today, Ruud van Nistelrooy, addressing the presser of the game that you're going to play against Piyok, has come out and obviously had something to say. He has said he has been managed very well after his injury in preseason. It was going to be a long one. We are going to get him back partially over the coming weeks. Let's hope he's back as soon as possible. So he's like, the guy is really going to be used partially. So they won't really rush him in, because we note it that the moment you rush in a player of his quality, it will obviously damage his progress, his rehabilitation. And all what they're going to do is they're going to give him all the time he really needs as a player. And this has been done by Manchester United on Malacia. You see how he's being handled. It's now coming to 2 months ever since he returned from injury. But what has going to happen is the club is really trying to give him all what he deserves to obviously find himself in a position of really giving us his best as a player. So I think they are taking their time, and I think that is really very important for the club of Manchester United. And we are here to obviously see to it that everything really gives us the best of the vibes. Now, this is Leny Yoro and how he looked today in the training session. You know, he really looked good and he was smiling, and maybe he's ready for the new chapter of Ruben Amorim. That is Leny Yoro. All smiles for you, and I'm gonna hate to see some people really trying to diss him. But if people like Ineos, who really know, who really have Omar Berrada, man who knows football finance, the other guy is what's his name? The other guy is Dan Ashworth. You know exactly what it means to have him. He has experience. And the other guy is called Jean-Claude. They are really good at the game of football. And if they are that good, you obviously know to it that when they spend close to 60 million euros for a player, it shows you how good this player is. And Leny Yoro is really one of a kind. Then that is him obviously having a smile. You know, he's really this jolly lad, and I pray to it that that joy really lives with him at Manchester United. We've gone to see very many players who obviously coming through when they're really joyous, but when they leave, but after some games, they tend to be miserable. The Anthony's of this world and very many others who have always gone ahead to come in here and really put in a very big shift altogether. But at last, that smile really goes ahead to obviously die off. So that is exactly what we've gone ahead to get in through from the man himself, known as Leny Yoro, and he's really doing a very good job to obviously see to it that his recovery really comes on as that. Now that is Leny Yoro, as you see him there, and he's really doing a very, very big job for the club of Manchester United. And now let me take you into what the team looked like in the training session, right? This is the last training session they did. This is their last charge for the game of Payok. Ruud van Nistelrooy, the interim, as he obviously walked onto the Carrington training ground. That is Tyrell Malacia and Mazarawi, and Tyrell Malacia is really smiling, and those smiles are really very, very indicative that he's really getting back to where we want him to be. Casemiro obviously raising up his thumb in very, very good form. That is Casemiro for you. So Leny Yoro and Amadi Diallo obviously having something special there. Training session, both smiling, and he was welcomed back well by his mates at the club of Manchester United. Training ground was at the Carrington. Now, here we come. We are seeing Manuel Ugarte, Bruno Fernandes, Amadi Diallo. This is Anthony, Casemiro, and Alejandro Garnacho. Obviously, all training, and looks like people are really doing great. Mason Mount is also back in training, and there is a huge question as to whether he's really going to find himself into the squad tomorrow. But we'll get to know what the situation will be like into that beautiful game of football. Then Rasmus Højlund and Matthias de Ligt, all smiles for this beautiful game of football, for this beautiful training session that really summed up all what they had to do for this beautiful game that is really coming up. You understand? Then after them, we do have Bruno Fernandes, all smiles, you know. Then Rashford and Mason Mount, that is the English connection. And Amadi Diallo, Anthony, Ugarte, and Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes looking on as the captain. Then Jack Kingdom also trying to obviously do the needful, promoted from the academy, and he's really highly talked about by people who really believe in young talent. Now this is Andre Onana and Atel Beindir walking onto the training ground of Manchester United, and this is Casemiro laughing, all having a laugh with Ruud van Nistelrooy. So that's what I had for you. Leny Yoro nearing his first Premier League debut and is back into the first team training for the club of Manchester United. He was back doing individual training. This time around, he's really doing what we call the group training session. So I'm calling in for your reactions into the comment section below about the return of Leny Yoro. Bye bye.